Greetings petrolheads and welcome to a new chapter of Assetto Corsa Competizione. Before you think you're going bonkers and having a deja vu, this is a special extended version of the video I did about ratings about a week ago. After I published the original, Kunos contacted me and gave me precise corrections and told me where I had some misconceptions, and we decided that it would be best if I would take the original material and correct the errors and misconceptions in that one. This is therefore the old video with some corrections, big and small, and some more information that I got directly from Kunos, for which I am very thankful. In a very laudable move, Kunos has been explaining the rating system that they use in Assetto Corsa Competizione. I'm gonna try to give you the concentrated version of it in this video. Be aware that the game being in early access, anything that they say and therefore I explain is subject to change, and that the ratings that you get while playing the early access version may be completely eliminated or put to zero the moment the game is released in a 1.0 version. They are using the data that they're collecting now from all of us who are on early access to fine-tune the system, to find any errors in the system, to be sure that the system does what is intended. You'll find that the system is quite interestingly made, that it's well thought out, and that is because... I'll tell you in good time. All the rating indicators go from 0 to 100 and try to be a percentage scale. You unlock the next rating indicator when you arrive at 50% of your actually active rating indicator. If we look at the picture that Kunos released, you will always start at TR track competence and then go all round and round and round until competition, unlocking every step that you see in this curve at 50%. Kunos considers the first three, TR, CN, CC, as driver-focused ratings. Let's start with TR track competence. As the name says, what it's measuring is how good do you know the track, how well are you able to drive on the track. And it starts by wanting you to do 1, then 2, then 4 clean laps in good conditions, less in rainy conditions or at night. It's quite easy to reach 50% with TR, as the only thing that you have to do is be able to make 1, then 2 consecutive clean laps. Kunos talks here about track medals. Make 1 clean lap on a track, and you'll get the first medal. Make 2 consecutive clean laps on a track and you'll get the second medal, reaching 50% on that track. Make 4 consecutive clean laps on a track and you'll reach the third and last medal. We have to differentiate between making the medals and the overall TR rating. When all tracks are already in the sim, you will be able to reach 100% of TR if you do all 3 medals in all tracks that are gonna be there. Kunos' advice is that you should at least be able to do 2 consecutive clean laps before you move to any other rating. I personally would even say do the 4 consecutive clean laps, then you can be sure that you have internalized the track. Now, if you don't know the track well, and for some of the tracks it's very possible that you don't know, Misano for example is not a track that you find very often in simulations, it may be a good idea to do some starting laps with the racing line on that Assetto Corsa Competizione offers, so that you get a hang of what the best racing line would be. I advise setting the racing line off after you feel a little bit more confident, because else you'll grow accustomed to watching the racing line and not to keep an eye for the cues on the track. Most of the ratings will give you feedback on how you're doing based on a color code, which Kunos calls, surprise, feedback color codes. For TR, blue, you're much too slow. Your pace is about 15 seconds or more under the standard pace that even a mediocre racer would be able to do. Green, perfect. Yellow or orange, you're trying too hard. Tone down a little bit. Red, you lost control of the car or you even left the track. Only two of these color codes mean that your round has been invalidated. If you get blue or if you get red. Everything in between, it's still okay and gets counted for the medal. Once you arrive at a track competence of 50%, the consistency rating opens up. What Assetto Corsa Competizione measures with the consistency, the CN, is how well you are able to do one lap after the other, after the other, after the other, and so on a specific track. It counts the laps without spin or major problem that you have done at that track. The feedback color codes for CN have the following meaning. Blue, again, you're much too slow, it's not going to be counted. Green, perfect. You have been for at least 2 or even 3 rounds very consistent in this curve. Yellow to orange, you're not being really consistent, but still you are within limits. Red, again, you've lost control, you are completely inconsistent in this curve. Be aware that the CN rating and the feedback color codes compare your driving for at least the last 2 consecutive rounds. You'll get a high CN rating when you are able to do at least 2 very similar rounds or 10 consecutive consistent rounds, one after the other. Kunos expects that most of us will reach 80% of consistency in each and every track. We'll see how that goes. What Kuno is trying to do with the consistency rating is helping us find the limits of the track and the best way to race at the limit of the track without overdriving. Reach 50% of the consistency rating and the car control rating opens up. The car control rating is similar to the consistency rating, but as the name says, it's not about the track, it's about the car that you're driving. As with the consistency rating, the goal here is to find the limits of the car, to push yourself in your car control to the limit without overdriving your car, without trying too hard. Drive carefully even while driving to the limit. And Kuno says the transitions and corner entries are important to get a good rating in car control. You get feedback at every corner based on different colors. Green, you're taking it quite well. Red, you're forcing it too much. Blue, you should put more effort. For the car control rating, Kunos analyzes telemetry and physics data of your driving and finds out where you are overdriving the car, or, and I know that's not a word, when you're underdriving the car. If you're getting yellow, orange, or red, you are turning too hard into the curve or too fast. If you get blue or turquoise color feedback, Kunos is telling you that you're leaving grip unused on the track, by which they mean that you could go a little bit more to the edge of your driving. Kunos expects that most of us will be rather overdriving their cars than, yeah, I know it's not a word, underdriving them. Reach 50% of car control and we move over to pace. The pace rating will only go up when you do the challenges that Assetto Corsa Competizione brings with it. What the pace rating does is finding out how consistent you're able to drive to the limit of the car and the track. Now, do you see a pattern here? I like the way that they've set up the different ratings so that you learn one part of racing at a time. For somebody like me who loves to race but is not very good, it's gonna be very interesting to see if and how Assetto Corsa Competizione helps me become a better racer. By the way, if you do the special challenges, you will end up in the leaderboards. So while this is not multiplayer, you will start measuring yourself against other sim racers. Well, explaining this has been a mouthful, and there's still more to explain, but I'll let you digest all that I've been saying from TR to PC, and next week I'm gonna continue with the explanations for safety, S.E.E, racecraft, RC, and CP? Oh yeah, and next week you'll know the mysterious identity of the person who is making all these ratings. So that would be all for today. If you have any questions or opinions to what I've been explaining now, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please be so kind and click on like. If you want to see more of us, click on subscribe and don't forget to click on the bell. And until then, safe fuel, take pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium. Visit romrom.net to connect to fellow sim racers and sim racing fans.